What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers are still linked to several free agents as well as potential buyout candidates. Nikola Vucevic kind of seems to be the main one that there's just a lot of buzz on because Chicago is expected at some point, whether it's during the season or this current offseason, very likely could be during the regular season, which actually might be best for the Lakers. Talk about that on another day. But point is that you have all these names that are coming up and circulating that the Lakers are keeping an eye on. As we inch closer to training camp, you're probably just going to get more and more names on the market, and you're going to see a lot more guys ending up being bought out. Not saying that all of them will sign with the Lakers, but if you can land one or two, especially if they're key pieces that could potentially help, then that could go a long way for the Lakers, right? So the thing is, though, with all these names on the market and all the potential, and I mean, there's still guys out there. Al Horford, who is expected to sign with the Warriors. Same thing with DeAnthony Melton is expected to sign with the Warriors. But if the Warriors don't expedite this, and if they end up putting themselves in a tough spot, maybe the Lakers come in and kind of swoop that up and be like, hey, come here, right? Instead of waiting for them, sign with us now and let's go type thing. But we'll see. Time will tell. Point is, if the Lakers are going to sign more free agents or going to sign, say Nikola Vucevic gets bought out tomorrow, right? Lakers can't sign him right now, right? So there's all these players that Lakers are continuously linked to, but yet the Lakers can't sign any of them, unless they are able to pull off a trade. If the Lakers can pull off some consolidation trade, which has been talked about and rumored and reported, or any just type of trade period, right? It is very possible that then now they could go and bring those guys. That's why I've talked about in various trade videos, like, you got to look at it as like, hey, we wouldn't just be getting player X, we'd be getting player X plus these two or three, DeAnthony Melton and Nikola Vucevic or whatever, right? That any trade, if you free up the cap space as well as other things, then you'd be getting other pieces. However, you don't want to do that unless you know, right? Like, if I know Nikola Vucevic is going to be bought out and he wants to come to the Lakers, well, now it's more justified for me to go make a trade like an Andrew Wiggins trade, where I'm freeing up the roster spot and the cap space for him. And now I'm not just trading what I'm trading to get Andrew Wiggins, trading what I'm trading to get Andrew Wiggins and a Nikola Vucevic and maybe potentially somebody else, right? So you want the clarification, you want the confirmation that, like, hey, I am going to be bought out. I want to be bought out. I'm going to you. Because you don't want to go and pull off a trade and potentially overpay for a trade just to then not get those guys. Right now, DeAnthony Melton and Al Horford are like, nah, we're good. We still want to sign with the Warriors. And it's like, okay, well, and then it's like, oh, well, Nikola Vucevic, like, is overpaying for a trade worth a mere coffee, and a Gary Payton II. Some people might think so. I don't really think so. I don't think overpaying for guys like that. Yes, there are guys that could help, right? And you could argue that they might be a little more impactful than other guys. But if you can get the impact guys, right? Nikola Vucevic is an impact guy. He's a guy that's a 19-10 center that can stretch the floor, knock down the three ball, and a proven starter, even right now at his age, going into this season. Right? And now you'd have the opportunity to have him come off the bench and even slot alongside guys at times because of his floor spacing ability. You can try different things like, what does Ayton and Vucevic look like, right? Like, what does Jackson Hayes and Vucevic look like, right? Like, you could try it. Maybe it's terrible. Maybe it's not, because Nikola Vucevic can stretch the floor, right? Like, but it gives you those options, right? He's a guy that, yes, I don't expect to average 19 and 10, but if he could be half of that, if he could be like 9 and 5, right, and 20 minutes of action, perfect, right? Help you rebound, do some stuff. He's going to have that random game here and there. There's going to be games where he starts and fills in and is able to play, plus the best ability is availability, right? He's a guy that now you can justify making said trade, and it makes sense for you if you're the Lakers, right? But if you go and you overpay for Andrew Wiggins, and now it's like, well, let's see. Again, now you don't know, and now you're gambling. And then if those guys do become available, now you definitely can't sign them because you just pulled off your one thing, your last little ace card in order to make it work and make it happen. Now you missed out on that guy, missed out on that piece. Now, obviously, there's the potential that he never is bought out. There's the potential that none of these guys that are rumored to be bought out don't get bought out. But then as you inch closer, you can be patient. It's why I've talked about. I don't mind if the Lakers go into the season as is, right? I obviously would love to kind of get our team at least primarily intact, right? If you could get in Andrew Wiggins now, go get him now, right? If you can get a Matisse Thybulle and a Robert Williams now, go get them now. But there is the likelihood that it becomes easier the closer you get to the trade deadline. And it also gives you, if you're the Lakers, time to kind of evaluate guys, right? Like, what if Jackson Hayes is everything this team needs at the center position, right? As far as backup goes. We know he can fill in a pinch and handle business during the regular season. My issue with Jackson Hayes isn't so much the regular season, it's come playoff time where you need him and he's going to start getting exposed. But if you have DeAndre Ayton, maybe you don't even need that backup. So why use assets in order to go and get that backup center when Jackson Hayes could maybe fill that role? Or Maxi Kleber. And Maxi Kleber is really good for the Lakers because he has chemistry with Luka and stuff. Or the two of them combined are enough, right? Again, why would you go make those assets? What if, Jake LaRavia or Dude Thero or, any of these guys, Jared Vanderbilt shoots 36% from three-point ranges or even 34, 35% where he's at least respectable, right? Now, again, I still would want that wing just because I think that's probably the biggest need. But you now have a point of leverage to where it's like, hey, we don't need this guy. We want this guy. It's a big difference, right? When teams know you need him, right? Now that's where the price increase and the desperation comes into play. But if you're like, no, hey, look at Jared Vanderbilt shooting 36% from three-point range, we're 40 games in, we're 30-10 or, 25-15 or something like that. It's like, no, we're fine. We're good, right? But we would love to have your guy. We'd love to bring your guy in and let him, help elevate us more slightly, right? But you're not coming from a place of desperation. So I want the Lakers, and I'm okay with the Lakers to, again, be patient. Let things develop, go into the season if need be. You're going to have that next wave of buyouts in the post-trade deadline, guys that don't get bought out. And then if Nikola Vucevic ends up getting bought out, right? Like you can go into the trade deadline knowing and having an idea. Plus, you'll have a better gauge if what guys are going to potentially be bought out. Because it's probably going to be a lot of the guys that are on the trade market that don't end up getting traded. Right? That's usually how it goes. It's usually a bunch of guys that teams are trying to trade and get off of that they aren't successful in. So therefore they go, all right, fine, let's just get off of them now. Let them go where they need to go. Save us a little money. Win-win for everybody. Right? So you'll have a better idea of who's potentially going to be bought out. So when you go and make your trade at the trade deadline, you now can kind of adjust and pivot in the way that you need to and go get said guy. Also, you'll know what you need. Right? So that buyout guy might just be the icing on the cake or the cherry on top rather than the cake itself or part of the slice, right? Like, again, let's say the Lakers are really good at the wing and everything, like everything's shaping up good. Lakers are a really good basketball team, right? If Nikola Vucevic gets bought out, it still would make sense to bring him in, right? He's a guy that could still help. And then maybe now you're looking to trade Maxi Kleber or whatever. Right, but you want to kind of have an idea of, see the landscape of who's getting bought out, check your roster, see what your roster looks like, and then you can make your, now your decisions are educated, right? You're making educated decisions rather than, maybes and what ifs, right? Which, a lot of people are like, oh, there's a lot of what ifs and maybes with the Lakers. Yeah, but that's every team. Every team is filled with maybes and what ifs right now because, again, you don't know. You don't know how things are going to work out. You don't know how a team's health is going to be during the season. You don't know. There's so many unknowns and what-if variables that go into a regular season and a playoff run and a title run and all of that, right? Luka could just clearly be the best player in all of basketball this season and, MVP candidate. LeBron James is the best second option in all of basketball, second option, because he's never going to be really a second option. Lakers are, the one seed in the Western Conference and running through everybody. It's not impossible. I mean, they were the 3 seed last year with out of shape, overweight Luka midway through the season, dealing with a bunch of injuries. Not a bunch, but, dealing with injuries. Didn't have a center post trade, still ended up being the 3 seed. Right? What does that look like when you have a full season with this team? Full training camp, all of that stuff. All of a sudden, Lakers are the best team in all of basketball. Right? Like, why are you going to go and pony up a bunch of stuff if you don't need to? Right? Now, again, that should incentivize you to make a move if you can, but it has to, again, you still want it to be the right move, because a move can also set you back. You make the wrong move and that doesn't work out, or there's locker room issues or whatever, then again, or you have a guy that's killing it. Like I said, if Jared Vanderbilt and Jake LaRavia are killing teams and we're like, that's great. Do you really want to bring in Andrew Wiggins at that point to ruin that? To now break that up and now they get limited? No, you want to leave that intact. So you find, what's the next thing? Maybe it's like, hey, you know what? We really need a scorer off the bench. We really need to go. Maybe you go and look at a Malik Monk or something like that, right? So I want to see the Lakers continue to be patient, but I just kind of look at, all this news and all these noise of like free agents and all this stuff. And it's great. Lakers need to make a trade, and it's very possible that they end up pulling one off, but continue to remain patient. Continue to let things develop. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.